Okay, so we are going to be learning about the presidents of the United States. They are going to be very necessary to learn just because they were the presidents of the United States. We're going to start with number 1, Jorge Washington. Jorge over here was like a general during the American Revolution. That's when they all went, you know something? We want to deport ourselves from England, so they did, and they said we are the United States of America. That's the man who made it happen. We are under attack, but that is totally okay because frankly, I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore it. It's not even going to affect me. The next president of the United States that we have is Juan Adams. Juan over here was a founding father. He wrote many papers on the United States, many federal papers on the United States, stating like how it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like. So he was all like, oh, the United States has to be like super moral and like Protestant and like enlightened, which like none of those words have almost anything. Well, actually, some of those words have nothing to do with each other, but he was all like, we can make it work. It has not worked. Now, next one, we have Tomasito Jefferson. Tomasito Jefferson is the 3rd president of the United States. Yeah, he is. He is Tomas. You see, Tomasito Jefferson, he was all like, he was also like that same sort of like mindset of thinking like, oh, you know what? Let's let the Christians do whatever they feel like doing when it comes to Christianity, but also like we are so super smart, and it's like, let's just enlighten our path with like our own reason, like mix reason, like human reason with like Christianity. What could go wrong? I'll tell you. Joseph Smith, Charles Taze Russell, Americans. The next one we have is Santiago Madison, or like James Madison, James Madison. He's the 4th president, the cuatro, that's cuarto. The 4th president. Then we also have Santiago Monroe, also known as James Monroe. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was in charge of the Monroe Doctrine. I can't quite remember what that was, but I think it was some sort of territory dispute or some military thing. I can't remember. It's okay though. Just remember that something is something to do with the Monroe thing, and you might know more than most Americans, because the moment you say, what is the Monroe Doctrine, they're like, I didn't even know that there was a Monroe Doctrine. Except for the older ones. The older ones know everything about it because they were the last generation to have an education. The next one that we have is Juan Quincy Adams. Juan Quincy Adams, this one right here, right there. He looks like he's not happy today. Look at Juan. This is Juan Quincy Adams. Now, Juan Quincy Adams is another one where I don't know what he did. I genuinely don't. Then we have Andres Jackson. Andres. He, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I love him. He like literally got assassinated. Like literally they were out for him. They were like literally so after him because he refused to have the banking system be like on a federal level. They were all like, oh, we need to have the same banking system as Europe. And he was all like, no, we have local banks here, so that way the town members have local power. That way whatever currency that they're trading in is exactly the credit or currency the town is going to be working with. It made it sure that there was more control over the economy in like the hands of the townspeople rather than the federal system, where then the power of their currency was way out of their hands. So they tried killing him like 27 times, actually maybe more than that, because he was all like, I'm not gonna do it. And I think he also had some bank wars where he was all like, I refuse. Love him forever, Andresito. Then we also have Martin Van Buren. This one right here. I'm going to dress my little daughter like Martine Van Buren, only because I think it's very funny when little girls dress up like Martine Van Buren. The next one we have is Will I Am Henry Harrison. Will I Am Henry Harrison is the right here. He's another one where I'm like, who are you? I don't know. Shame. I'm sure they did something. I'm sure they all did something in a certain direction. I'm sure that they were all responsible for something, but what is it? I don't know. It's just not taught. It's just not told to you. I wonder, like, how do you not know? Like, how do you have a president in the United States? There's only 46 of them. And yet we don't learn them in 4 years of American high school. It's like, literally, what? What did I learn? What did I learn? The 10th president of the United States is Juan Tyler. Right there, Juan Tyler. Juan Tyler kind of looks like Juan Quincy Adams. Juan Quincy Adams, Juan Tyler. That's crazy right there. The next one we have is Santiago Knox Polk. So I don't quite know who he is either. Like, I know he existed, but I don't know who he is. Then we have Zacharias Taylor right there. Zacharias Taylor kind of looks like Will I Am Henry Harrison. So like right there. And then we also have Zacharias Taylor. That's crazy. They all be rocking that sort of like a Dracula haircut. I love it. Oh my god, if a man in his 60s wore his hair like that, trust me, it looks good. That's a good haircut to have. I promise you, it's like a great haircut to have. Like, where did that haircut go? Like, this is awful. Like, this is literally just like you have 2 puffs of clouds around your head. Like, call yourself an astrologer, because like your head is the sun. But when it comes to like this hairstyle, that's got some suave to it. That's got some like, that's got a level of like panache to it. Then we have Millard Fillmore right there. Millard Fillmore. What did he do? I don't know. But he was there. He was there. Then we have Franklin Pierce. He looks like Richard Gere from, not Richard Gere, Richard, the guy from the Fantastic Four and Titanic and 102 Dalmatians. I can't remember his name, but he was so cute. This president actually looks kind of cute. He's actually quite cute. I see why he was, well, no, because at that time women couldn't vote, so they didn't vote on cuteness. Oh, but Abraham Lincoln won because he grew a beard, and then the women were all like, oh my god, you should vote for him because he's so cute now that he has a beard. And so then the men were encouraged to vote for Abraham Lincoln. That's according to the mythology of it. Then we have Santiago Buchanan, and Santiago Buchanan is also another one where I'm like, who are you? And then we have Abraham Lincoln. And this one is the one where it's like, whoa, that's so much changed. Like, literally so much changed. Like, literally, because of the Civil War, he was all like, you know something? Screw Andres Jackson. We're going to federalize the banking system. And it was through the Civil War where this banking system was moved from having local currency control to being on that European national banking sort of like system, where then the federal government had more power, or complete power over the currency and over like the whole like money. Like, now you had to appeal to the federal government for your money as opposed to local banks. That's what Lincoln did. That was his effort to try and unite the country, make sure the South could not secede. Then we have Andres Johnson right there. Andres Johnson. He was a general. No, he wasn't a general. Who was Andres Johnson? I forgot what he was about. We're going to move on to Ulysses S. Grande. This one was the one who was the general of the North. They apparently said he was like a really good general, but he was like a really bad presidente. So it's like, you know, it's kind of like when what's his name, Michael Jordan. It was like when he was a very good basketball player, but then he was also like a really bad baseball player. It's like that. Ulysses was like that, but when it came to politics. We have Rutherford B. Hayes. I don't know. We have Santiago A. Garfield. He was the cat who eats lasagna. We have Chester A. Arturo. I don't know. Wasn't he? No, he was not the one. Who was the fat one? Oh, we're getting there. We have Grover Cleveland. I don't know. We have Benjamin Harrison. I don't know. We have Grover Cleveland again. Grover Cleveland twice. We have two Grover Clevelands around a Benjamin Harrison. They have two photos of him as if it was two different people. I wonder what happened to Grover Cleveland. We have William McKinley. I like his hair. That's a good hair. But it's interesting how the style is like morphing. It's becoming more and more like modernized. It's like the beards are starting to disappear. Like, look at that. William McKinley, no beard. The only one who didn't, or only couple, yeah, okay. Then we have Theodore Roosevelt right there. He was honestly pretty cool. I have my criticisms of him, mostly because he was the one who was all like, oh, the United States have to get in everyone's business and tell everyone what to do, and we have to be like a big bully with a bat, otherwise, you know, how else are we gonna have control over the people? But I'm like, Teodoro, have you ever thought about the fact that it's like, what goes around comes around? Like, literally the first, like, what, 15 US presidents were all like, don't get involved in other people's businesses because, like, that could destabilize the stability of the United States. And you're over here saying, let's get in everyone's business. Do you understand how that could bite you back? It's biting you back. But other than that, he was also pretty cool because they literally tried killing him. They shot him in the heart and he was all like, oh, sorry, I'm still gonna keep talking. I'm like, literally, I felt that. I'm like, if someone shot me, I would still just keep saying what I was saying, but even louder, because it's like, why are you trying to shoot me? In fact, I'm gonna get louder now. Put another bullet in me. I'm gonna start screaming what I'm about to say. Then we have William Howard Taft. He was a fatty. He could not get out of a bathtub, and I think he died in office. No assassination. It was just his diet. Then we have this psychopata, Woodrow Wilson. I would say he probably destroyed the country. Like, if any American wants to be all like, oh, the country is terrible now, I think Woodrow Wilson is probably the best president to blame. He was the one who established the Federal Reserve, and he was all like, oh, we need to make sure that, you know, we take the money that we have and we make it as unstable as possible because I'm getting a lot of money in order to destabilize the country. I don't know. I don't like him at all. He's so sneaky and slippery. I wonder how he even got into politics in the first place. It's questionable. Then we have Warren G. Harding. I don't know. Then we have Calvin Coolidge. I don't know. Then we have Herbert Hoover. He was the one who was like president during the Great Depression, and so people started making like little ramshackle houses, and they were all like, these are Hoover dams, and he was blamed for why everyone was so poor and sad. It was really sad. Then we have Franklin D. Roosevelt. He was the president for like 3 terms, so he was practically like Ray Roosevelt, but like yeah, that's when they ended up saying you could only have 2 terms because the idea of having 3 or 4 is kind of like a king and also kind of like terrible for your mental state. But it was mostly to prevent like a king sort of position. They wanted to make sure that no single human being could have that much power, unless of course, like, what if that power was like reflective of the people's needs and they just received that which they needed, and then if like the person didn't reflect their needs, they would like decapitate it the way that they used to be back in the medieval ages, where it's like, if there was a good king, yay, everyone loves the good king. If there was a bad king, chop off his head, see if his son can do any better. His son can't do any better, chop off his head, see if his cousin can do a little better. So let's see. Then we have Harry S. Truman. He was like warning everyone, saying like, hey, there's a lot of arms in the United States that are starting to get like really cancerous, starting to get like really bad. So like he was warning against like the military industrial complex, saying that it was being co-opted by people who weren't quite American, who were more like insane and willing to expend the lives of Americans for their own like profits. And then he was also warning against the CIA because he was all like, yeah, these people are not American interests. Then we have Dwight D. Eisenhower. He used to be a Jehovah's Witness when he was younger. And yeah, that was about it. Then we have Juan F. Kennedy. He was actually pretty cute. Like, not gonna lie, like when he was younger, like I also would have, I understood. He was cute. Catholico too. He was very like Catholic and Irish. Oh my god, stop. Irish and Catholic. Love it. They shot him in the head. Like, why? We all know why. It's because he was all like, oh, I don't agree with like invading other people's countries because that's kind of like a bad idea. Oh, but fine, I'll just do the Bay of Pigs. And oh, I don't like the CIA, but fine, whatever. But then like also the CIA were the ones who organized him having to go down that street, even though they were warned multiple times that it's a very unsafe route for him to take. The president of the United States saying that there was very many opportunities for him to get killed, and they were like, oh, we know. And then they made him go down that route. And yeah, it was just questionable. And it's like also like they were like, it's like a magic bullet. Anyway, there's so much right there where I'm like, there's just so much there that it's like, of course there's so much there. He's like sexy. It's like, of course there's gonna be a lot there. Then we have, I don't like him. Like, I don't like his face. I just don't like him. Like, he just seems like someone where I just don't like him. Like, he just seems like a poo-poo head. Like, he looks like someone where it's like, ew, you know? It's kind of like, ew. We have Lyndon B. Johnson, and he's just like, ew. I don't know. I don't like him. Then we have Ricardo M. Nixon. I don't know, he was just kind of like, he was like as paranoid as like, okay, so basically he was the one who started like taping everyone's conversations in the White House because he was paranoid over who's gonna betray him or not betray him. He wanted to know everything that was going on in La Casa Blanca. But he was all like, it kind of bit him back because then when he started trying to videotape everything, he was caught on being like cheating in the elections because he started hearing secrets about what was going on the opposite side, trying to collect information here, there, and here and there. And he got into so much trouble that they ended up trying to impeach him. But apparently he was actually like a really good president. Like, he helped the economy, and apparently he helped like the American citizens, and he was trying to like reform things to become more stable again. But yeah, it was like him trying to record every conversation happening in his house that got him into a lot of trouble, and he almost got impeached, but he just resigned so that way he wouldn't get impeached. Not going to lie, I would do the same in my house. Like, if I felt like someone was going to like betray me, I would also start taping their conversations. Like, excuse me, do you remember the conversation you had at 2:32 a.m. on January 15th? Yeah, my name was in your mouth. I could feel it in the vibes. I could feel it in the cosmos. The moment you said it, it's like it broke through the wind, and I heard it through the atmosphere. So that's Ricardo. He was pretty chill. Oh wow, I didn't even notice that. They had a little color coding here that tells you what party they were from. Interesting. Anyways, we have Geraldo Ford. He was like, I don't know. It's like he looked like he should have been like on the show Cheers. I don't know really. Then we have Jimmy Carter. He was like a fan favorite for like a lot of people who are all like, oh, he was just nice. But it's like, okay, but like, what did he do? Like, what did he do? He was just a nice guy. Okay, that's great. Like, well, he could be your neighbor, but like, what did he do? He was just like a really nice guy. Okay, that's great. He could be like, I don't know, like a friend. What did he do? Then we have Ronaldo Reagan. Not going to lie, I also don't really like him either, because he was all like, oh, there's not going to be any more family friendly content forced in the TV. You could just like, whatever is up for profit or whatever is up for grabs can just be on the TV now. And it's like, oh, congratulations, now family content can now just be riddled with a bunch of like things that aren't very family friendly, that'll then degenerate the psyches of the citizens around us, who then normalize things that are more and more awful, stupid, and degenerate. And then he was like, there's no more educational hour either. It's like, okay, good, great, you got rid of the few things that maintain the IQ of the US populace. Plus then he also defunded the psychiatric institutions, which was really like the only place that you could send people who had like problemas mentales. And it's like, okay, great, don't worry, the cities will just deal with them. No, like whenever I'm walking, I love it when like 7 schizophrenic people come up to me and they're all like, my booty hole is speaking to me. It's like, you should be in an institution, but no, don't worry, because of Ronaldo, you can just be on the street pooping on the sidewalk. It's completely okay. That was him. Then we have Jorge H.W. Arbusto Bush. He was, I don't know, like he was just like, I don't know. Then we have Bill Clinton. That was like the last time that the economy had like that the US had like a good economy was under him. But I also don't really like him because he also completely destabilized Puerto Rico. And it's like, all of you guys are in cahoots to ruin something. Like, it's always something that you can't do right, and it's always on purpose. There is a quote, I forgot who said it, but it's basically like, if you were just an incompetent politician, then 50% of your choices could at least be good for the people. 50% of them will be bad, 50% of them good. It's like flip a coin, maybe sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But if all of your choices, all of your decisions somehow just always permanently ruins the United States or whatever country you're in a very organized way where it's all degrading and it's all getting mixed up and it's all starting to go to ruin, it's probably done on purpose. Like, you're not incompetent, you're just evil. Then we have Jorge W. Arbusto II, King George II. He was pretty funny, honestly, but he also created the wars for nothing, and he was also kind of crazy, like psychotic. I would say he was probably yet another domino piece in destabilizing society. Then we have Barack Obama. He's black. And also, he was yet another piece to completely destabilize the United States. Then we have Donald Trump. He was pretty cool and funny, but also, it's like you can't trust anyone. And then we have Josue Biden. I'm going to be so honest with you, Josue is not with us today. He is... The lights are on, but nobody's home. But let's look at the colors now. So, George Washington had no party. Juan Adams was a federalist. And then Thomas Jefferson was a Democratic Republican. Santiago was a Democratic Republican. James Monroe was a Democratic Republican. Juan Quincy Adams was a Democratic Republican. Andres Jackson was a Democrat. Martin Van Buren was a Democrat. William Henry Harrison was part of the Whig Party. Juan Tyler was part of the Whig Party. James Knox Polk was part of the Democrat Party. Zacharias Taylor, Whig Party. Millard Fillmore, Whig Party. Franklin Pierce, Democrat Party. Santiago Buchanan, Democrat Party. Abraham Lincoln, Republican. Andres Johnson, Democrat. Ulysses S. Grant, Republican. Rutherford B. Hayes, Republican. Santiago A. Garfield, Republican. Chester A. Arthur, Republican. Grover Cleveland, Democrat. Benjamin Harrison, Republican. Grover Cleveland, Democrat. William McKinley, Republican. Theodore Roosevelt, Republican. William Howard Taft, Republican. Woodrow Wilson, Democrat. Warren G. Harding, Republican. Calvin Coolidge, Republican. Herbert Hoover, Republican. Franklin D. Roosevelt, Democrat. Harry S. Truman, Democrat. Oh, he was the one who dropped the bomb. Interesting. Dwight D. Eisenhower, Republican. Juan F. Kennedy, Democrat. Lyndon B. Johnson, Democrat. Ricardo M. Nixon, Republican. Geraldo Ford, Republican. Jimmy Carter, Democrat. Ronald Reagan, Republican. Jorge H.W. Arbusto, Republican. Bill Clinton, Democrat. Jorge W. Arbusto, Republican. Barack Obama, Democrat. Donald Trump, Republican. And Josue Biden, terminally Alzheimer's, dementia-ridden Democrat. Very tragic. Anyways, that is the presidents of the United States. You learned so much today. You're welcome. Now, if you have any difficulty remembering like their names or whatever, like, it's totally okay. You can just keep, I don't know, learning about them, because it's very important to learn about what they did, what they supported, and the patterns that keep degrading the society and life that we are currently living in. Yeah. Anyways. Bye-bye. Ciao.